Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Jeff Will, and I'm a senior product manager here at Wallaroo. Today, I wanted to show you our ML workload orchestration. So hopefully you're already familiar with the Wallaroo platform that streamlines production ML. And it does that by facilitating collaboration between your data science team and your ML engineering team. It integrates with your existing toolkit in your ecosystem, and it seamlessly slots into your ML process to achieve faster time to market and live results in production to help drive business impact. Given that's where we're starting, we now want to show how we can automate that process of running inference in production with recurring workloads so that your data scientists and your ML engineers can focus on the hard problems of developing and optimizing production ML and not in executing repetitive tasks. So this significantly lowers your barriers to realizing the business value of repeatable workloads. And whether you're a data scientist or an ML engineer, Wallaroo enables you to deploy as many models as you need to and deliver value for the business. So to start off, I'm going to jump in by introducing some terminology. So within our platform, we have connections, which allow you to use credentials to connect to various data sources. So in this demonstration, we've already done some background work to set up connections and connect them to our workspaces, which is the level at which data connections are associated in Wallaroo. Then we have orchestrations, which are essentially a set of custom instructions that use Wallaroo pipelines to inference. And those allow you to automate the same steps every time, and so you don't encounter errors. Then we have orchestration tasks, which are the set of instructions about when to run an orchestration. So in our case, that's either running once immediately or running on a recurring basis. And it removes that need for a person to do that repetitive task. And lastly, we have task runs, which are the actual executions of an orchestration. And they ensure that your business operations are not interrupted, and make it easy to identify and troubleshoot any problems that you may have. So in our demonstration today, I'm going to focus, as you might be able to tell, in the SDK. So we're in a notebook environment on one of our servers, but this could also be done via our API. And today we're going to be using our house pricing model as our example model. So with that, I'm going to dive in here and set up our notebook. So we've got our initial steps here of loading our libraries. We also are going to connect to our Wallaroo instance, which we already have been authenticated to. Next, we're going to set up some variable names. You'll see I've got workspaces and pipelines, models, the whole 9 yards. They have my initials after them, JCW, so that they can be unique within our environment. And we are pulling data from BigQuery and depositing it back to BigQuery. So we've got some variables there to help us make those connections and pull the data. We also have some helper functions I'm going to enter in. And here, just to make sure we're all square and set, we've already got a workspace created. We've already got a pipeline with a model in it. All of that has already been done because in this case, we've already got a pipeline working and now we're really just looking to automate it. So I'm going to make sure we are in the right spot there. And then here we are with our connections. So I'm going to show you guys in our workspace, we have these connections associated to our workspace. And we can see that we've got our two connections here, one for the inputs and one for the outputs, assuming they come from and go to different tables within our BigQuery database. And just to show you what those connections look like, I'll run this command. We hide the details because that is sensitive information, at least here, but those details do exist so that the user of the notebook can send them to the right place within our BigQuery connection. Just to show you that working, input those connection credentials and set up our clients. And then I'm actually going to query the data to show you that there is, in fact, input data available to us from BigQuery. So these are what the model expects on our input, and just 5 lines as an example here. And then with that input data, we're going to run that through our pipeline and show that we can use it to inference. Here's our results of our house prices here. And that's just a quick showcase of how data connections work, which we do use in our workload orchestration. So I'm actually going to pull up our file here just to give you a quick walkthrough of exactly what's happening in the orchestration before we jump in. So we've got variable names and helper functions, much like we did in our notebook. And I'm going to jump down to the start here where we're starting to act on our pipeline. So Within the orchestration, you can do all the same things you can with our SDK. So you could deploy the pipeline. You can then connect to a data source here. And that allows you to use your existing data source using the exact same patterns across and access methods that you do today. So you can start running inference immediately. You don't have to massage the data. It's in the shape that you're used to, essentially. And so we can query our data source here, we can send it for inferencing, and then we can deposit it right back to whatever data source. It doesn't have to be the same one. In this case, we're still using BigQuery, but it's a totally separate table. So if you already have tools in your ecosystem set up to act on this table, things like reporting, Grafana, Splunk, Tableau, you can use all of that existing tooling without having to change anything because the data is still in the same shape and still in the same location. And likewise, you can undeploy at the end here. If your orchestration is only running, let's say, once a day, you don't need those resources to be used all the time. So your orchestration can have a deploy and undeploy at the beginning and end. However, if you're running inferences very frequently, you'd want to leave this pipeline deployed all the time. So the deploy and undeploy process, which is quick but not instantaneous, won't prevent you from inferencing. So with that, I'm going to jump back over into the orchestration and show you this process here of uploading an orchestration, providing a zip file, which, as you can see on the left here, that's this zip file, and it contains a main.py, which is the orchestration file itself, and a requirements file. So in this case, I'm not going to execute this command because, as you can see by this 5-second sleep, it takes about a minute or so. It's really dependent on the size of the packages you have in your requirements file. In this case, because we're using BigQuery, that's quite a large library. And so I'm not going to make us wait through that process. But this has been uploaded and our variable name is orchestration. So if I list my orchestrations here, I can see that I have two of the same, one from May 14th, one from June 17th. And information on that orchestration can be displayed here. It is ready to go. So we can use that set of instructions to execute our orchestration. So when we go to run an orchestration, we think this really helps out everyone involved in ML operations. So Wallaroo simplifies the coordination here between infrastructure, security, networking, and underlying code to automate repeatable workloads. So teams often include data scientists, machine learning engineers, DevOps engineers, as well as business analysts. And Wallaroo allows organizations of any size to work in any way that works for them by making automation easy and abstracting away the custom setup of automation and infrastructure for each individual orchestration or model or pipeline. So by removing this infrastructure and coordination complexity, Wallaroo really helps alleviate the bottlenecks leading to your business having much lower times to value and faster scaling as well. So let's look at how we can run an orchestration. So here I'm going to run to see what my latest data is, just to show that it is old. Here we have the last 5 rows of our output data. It includes our input data, but as well as our predicted house values over here. And then I'm going to create an orchestration, or I'm going to run my orchestration once. So that's this run once command. I can name it. I'll add a value here just so that we know it's distinct. And then I print our task. Here's the name of our run. And I can look at my task list as well as its status here. So you can see the one we just run, initiated is here with BigQuery single run 2. It is still in progress, so I will keep refreshing this. And there we go. It is now running. And we can see that it will complete relatively quickly here. While that's running, though, too, I'll talk to you about scheduled runs. So this is where a lot of our time savings and automation comes in. So we can also create scheduled tasks, which you might have seen in the list above as well. But here we act on our orchestration, same set of instructions again. So you can run this ad hoc as well as on a scheduled basis at the same time. It doesn't occupy anything in those ways. So we can give ourselves, let's again make this name unique and create a third scheduled run. And we will now display the results from what our task running before. And we can see that the table updated with later results here. So from this, I can then update my task list. I can see that my temporary run is now complete. You can see that there's a new scheduled run here with our new name, and that is running on a schedule here. So this helps, especially when you're fully scaled out, lots of pipelines, lots of workloads to manage. You can see all of them here. You can see their status, so you can go chase down any troubleshooting efforts. And it really helps with increasing operational efficiency and reducing the time it takes for users, whether data scientists or ML engineers, to maintain and fix any errors that might occur. So we think this is a great experience to help streamline the business process. So last but not least, in this case, you wouldn't necessarily do this if this is in production. You wouldn't do this if this was in production. I'm going to kill my scheduled task just so that it's not running in perpetuity. A cleanup task here, you might do that as part of your testing as you're running things and shutting them down before they're ready for full prime time. And I can also undeploy my pipeline. Like I said, that frees up resources. And this is just for the purposes of this demo. So hopefully you guys learned a lot about our ML workload orchestration. And if you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for sharing this time with us.